Hi, everybody. It is good to see y'all. Dee, Lindsay, Ed. Hey, Ed. What are you doing in newcomer orientation? But it's good to see you. Happy to see you. Mark and Cheryl. Hey, everybody. We're just gonna let everybody come on in here.
I was just kicked off.
Oh, that's not good.
No. There.
All right, so we are going to be ha putting this live on YouTube. So if you do not want your faces on YouTube, you need to turn off your video now. Thank y'all so much for being here, though. We're just happy to see you. We're happy that you're here. If you would please put your name and where you're from, where you're joining us from in the chat, that would be fantastic.
Hey, Bill, I think you took away my co-host.
I did.
I'm
Give it right
grounded.
back to you. I'll give it right back to you. I had to sign in.
All right.
Awesome. Appreciate you. All right, we're letting just a few others join us. Hand it right off. Ooh, Felix Tello. Okay.
Felix, long time no see. Okay, we got a couple more.
So good to see y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Where on earth is Gannett, Illinois?
I think that's their first name.
Oh, that's
And
their first name, and they're just okay. Never mind. My bad. Gannett.
all right, Constance, are you welcomer number one?
Yes, and but I need to see the notes. Do you want me just to read them from my file, or am I supposed to be seeing them?
We're going to be displaying the slides, and you are going to be reading the script.
Separately.
Yes.
Okay, let me get that script up then.
Constance, I sent run of show in
Yeah.
the signal chat.
I know, I do
She
have
has
it.
it.
I do.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Constance, I also emailed it to you.
Okay, I do have it. It's just slow in coming up. I got it.
So welcome everybody. We are going to be getting started shortly, just getting through a couple little technical difficulties, but we're almost there. We have 33 people.
Okay,
It's awesome.
I got it.
Okay, take it away.
All right. Uh, good evening, everyone. My name is Constance Cameron, and welcome to the newcomer orientation. As we wait for folks to arrive, we're going to put a copy of the slides in the chat. should you want to save them as a reference after the presentation, and we'll be starting shortly. But the plan is to go through the presentation and then open the discussion for questions. If you have one as we are moving through the presentation, please type question in the chat, followed by your question, and we will get to those at the end. But first, hello, all newcomers. Again, my name is Constance, and I'd like to say how great it is to meet everyone who has joined us tonight. I'm happy to be among the first to welcome you to the northwest suburbs of Chicago Organizing for Action Indivisible chapter, known affectionately as NWSOFA or NWSOFA, however you choose to pronounce it.
Only if you want to get grounded by Bill.
Right. He's not fond of that. It's a group dedicated to saving our democracy from others who are on a conscious path to destroy it. We can see that in the headlines every day, right? Without sounding too philosophical, our goals are as ambitious and righteous, I think, as any other in American history. And the more people like you who are willing to engage with us, the stronger we get. We're on a path to protect our democracy, in other words. So next slide. Okay, now in a few minutes, I'll get into the specifics of the resources available to you in your NWSOFA membership. But before I do, let's take a couple of minutes to put in the chat where you're joining from, a fun fact about yourself, and what brings you to this group. And maybe Rebecca or Chris could help read some of those that are starting to roll in.
Yeah, so give everybody a couple minutes to get that in. So where you're coming from and a fun fact. I'm waiting to read the fun facts.
Yeah, I love fun facts.
Allergic to zebras. Okay, that's probably the most original fun fact
Okay,
I've
all
ever
right.
seen.
Yeah.
Okay, keep them coming. Mike is joining us from Fairfax. Mike, you got a fun fact?
A fun fact from Fairfax.
Diana loves to play bridge. My mom and dad too.
Yeah, my mother was a big bridge player. So is that Fairfax, Virginia, may I ask?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And we have Sandra, who's a retired OBGYN from the Chicago area. Adrian loves to teach people to swim in Tokyo. Okay, these Ed,
Very
Tanya,
eclectic.
and Play Cribbage.
Eclectic.
Okay, I think
All
welcome
right.
everybody.
Yeah, well, these are great. And I can't wait to see how you will bring your new energies, your idea, and your innovative approaches based on your backgrounds to our chapter. We have teachers in the chapter. We have people who are retired. We have, people of all stripes, no pun intended with the zebra person. So, so it's good to have you. Now, a fun fact about NWSOFA. Even though our name suggests the group is for residents of the northwest suburbs of Chicago only, that is not the case. Our membership extends well beyond suburban Chicago. One member, for example, lives in central Illinois on the state's eastern border. In fact, she's on the call today. Others hail from other states, California, New York, Michigan, Florida, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Tennessee, and Texas, where Chris is from, to name just a few. So, I'd like to, in fact, speaking of Chris and Cecilia, I'd like to ask them if they would be willing to, and Beth, if she's on the call, or anybody who's on the call who is an existing member of NWSOFA, if you would be willing to share why you came to this chapter of Indivisible and what it has meant to you.
Yeah, I can definitely share a little bit.
Okay, this is Cecilia, right?
Yep, I'm Cecilia. I am from Casey, Illinois, which is actually 3.5 hours south of Chicago. But where I am, there is only, well, now only two indivisibles within driving distance, I would say, except in our state. So there are three within driving distance if you include the Terre Haute, Indiana chapter. And because of that, there wasn't a lot to the two Indivisibles started right at the same time. We were brand new and we didn't really have anybody to teach us much of anything. And when I found coffee and conversation by quite by accident, I'm almost 100% certain that it's because of the coffee. I probably clicked on it because it said coffee, and I had no idea it was in Chicago at first. And I probably didn't care. And what I found there, y'all, what I have found there are mentors, are people who have taught me how to do this organizing thing and who have accepted me for who I am. And y'all, I'm not normal, normal, whatever. I am my own, crazy, wonderful, and each of us are. And that's what's so fantastic about NWSOFA. They just accept and love. And when you have an idea, they want to help you mold and shape that idea into something beautiful. And I think that that is something that I love about this group most of all.
Thank you very much, Cecilia. And I have to say, I'm so glad you're part of this group because we've become friends, and you've added a lot to my experience with the group. So, how about anyone else outside of Illinois, perhaps?
Hey, this is Chris. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. So this just really kind of demonstrates how wide and far we come from. So right after the election, and I actually worked as a poll worker during the election, and so came out of my poll worker bubble only to find the bad news. And literally, I have to say, I was in a pretty low, dark place for a couple of days, didn't leave my house, didn't take calls, and probably, I was going through this, am I just going to wait this out? I just recently retired from federal service. And then I had Michelle Obama's voice in the back of my head saying, or you can do something. And I decided that I was going to do something. So, like Cecilia was just kind of looking for support. I went to the University of Notre Dame. I knew I couldn't find a group here in San Antonio originally. And so I'm like, Notre Dame is near Chicago, so let me give them a shot. And I'm so glad I did because I've been connected with a number of different indivisible groups. There is none that compares to Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action. So really excited to have you guys here. And it's such a diverse group. There's like over 20,000 members nationally. We have lawyers, etc., and experts and a lot of issue groups. Ed Spire's on the call today. So anyway, you are in the right place, and what you are going to find is we are a tremendous community that provides support. And like Cecilia and Constance both have said, many of us have now become friends and connected, like actually been to Chicago and met the crew. So welcome.
That's great. Yes, and I would just say my experience echoes both of yours in many ways because I am I'm a retired teacher, but since I retired almost 4.5 years ago, I've become a writer on Substack, and for the last 4 years, I've been writing anti-Trump, doing research, and research, very carefully researched pieces on his courtroom appearances and everything, and thinking that I was going to change the world. And lo and behold, November came around, and none of that mattered to me. It seemed to me. And I thought, well, I'm going to bail out. I'm not going to do anything else. But then after a few days, I decided, no, I can't live that way either. So I had heard of Indivisible. I looked it up online and found that there was this suburban Chicago chapter, where I live in the suburban Chicago area. So my gosh, I had to explore it. So I joined, and through the coffee and conversation, that sounded like a great morning experience. So I joined through that and become very involved since then, and made a lot of good friends and relationships. So it's a great group, and Bill Davis has a lot to do with that, and we'll hear from Bill in a few minutes. So but many of you may belong to other political grassroots groups and even local indivisible chapters, unlike me, for example. So do many of our current members. I think Chris does belong to several other groups in San Antonio. But these multi-group members have gravitated to NWSOFA because they say we have given them something beyond these other organizations. They enjoy a wealth of expertise, camaraderie, range of activism, and welcoming spirit our chapter is known for. For example, we have group members who are lawyers, as Chris said, who can speak to the intricacies of new legislation coming out of Washington or around the country. We have members who work on Capitol Hill and have insights into the inner workings of the legislative process. Other members have worked for the federal government, as did Chris. Were teachers, as were I, worked for years in business and technology, and bring to the group a wealth of other that kind of expertise. Our geographic loyalty is a problem, not in NWSOFA. You'll hear from Bears fans here in Chicago, but also those rooting for other teams, like that horrible team across the border, well, I won't even mention their name, in Wisconsin. And yes, here we come. And yes, as Bears and Packers fans can peacefully coexist in this group, all of us come together to get important work done for our country through the important relationships we forge for the purpose of reaching our common goals. So next slide. In about the next 20 minutes, we will give you a more specific overview of our group and the various ways to get involved. As we go through our materials, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat as they occur to you. Just write the word question, as I mentioned, in the chat, followed by your question. Next slide. But first, just a quick word about housekeeping. In order to keep our community productive, there are a number of guidelines that we ask our participants to follow. They are: respect the speaker, no personal attacks, protect privacy, keep language clean, introduce yourself so everyone can get to know one another, and lastly, in these dark times, while it's important to be candid, try to remain positive, be solutions-based, and ask questions before making judgments. Now, we all are very frank and candid. We feel that's important in talking about the political challenges that we face, but we have to rise above the darkness. We try to do that and think about solutions as we go through these many challenges. Our group values are respect, kindness, empathy, integrity, and that we're better together than apart or alone. Next slide. Okay, so are the slides posted in the chat at this point?
Yes, they've been posted a couple times. We'll be dropping them in throughout.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So first, let me give you an overview of the many ways you can immediately get involved. One of the great things about this group is that it has both local in-person events as well as national activities that take place online on Zoom, calls like this one, and in-person events such as the No Kings and other rallies. If you're in the Northwest suburbs area, our local events include the annual summer picnic, which we had in September. Right at the time, ICE was coming into Chicago, and so a number of us went down together to protest. That was actually a great time, but amidst the horrible time. We have rallies and protests, monthly pizza nights, and there's even a small brave contingent that ventures into our local current events group in Schaumburg, affectionately known as the MAGA group, for discussion twice a month. And I am one of those brave souls, I guess you would say. In addition to local events, NWSOFA offers an active schedule of Zoom meetings and daily and weekly events and discussions where much of our work begins and camaraderie grows. Next slide. Now I will hand it over to Merle, who is from California, I believe, who will explain in greater detail the local organization and work of NWSOFA, which is open to anyone who wants to get involved. So, on to
Hi,
Merle.
everyone. Thank you, Constance. Hi, my name is Merle, and I am indeed from California, Central California. And I've been with the NWSOFA group, I think, for about a year now. I believe I started going to Coffee and Conversation after the election because it came up in my Mobilize feed. So, and I've stayed with it because there's such a wonderful group of people. This snowflake graphic shows the teams that support the many varied online programs on specific issues. That's why they're called the issue teams. And while we won't have time to do justice to all the great work each team is doing, we'll spend the next few minutes highlighting several of them. We've also posted the link in the chat that takes you to the current week's scheduled events. Next slide. There are a couple of examples of past presentations given by the issues teams called out in the blue dot next to each image. Whether making sense of the latest Bureau of Labor Statistics economic reporting or updating us on the status of gun legislation, women's issues, or bringing us up to speed on a new green technology, these sessions are always incredibly informative, with excellent opportunities to pose questions to knowledgeable experts. Next slide. NWSOFA also hosts the 2025 version of radio call-in shows. Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time, NWSOFA hosts its morning meetings called Coffee and Conversation. This call truly represents the heartbeat of NWSOFA. It's not a presentation, but an open conversation among members. Participants share updates on what they're working on or planning as activists. They discuss the latest news, and they talk through questions or concerns that they're hearing from friends and family, such as how to respond to MAGA talking points from those who may only get their information from right-wing media or Donald Trump. The official call runs from 9 to 10 a.m. Central Time, but there's also an informal, unhosted pre-call each morning from around 8:30 to 9 a.m. After the main call ends at 10, Debbie Rudy often hosts an after-hours session for those who want to continue the conversation with a deeper discussion. On Friday early evenings, when we want to let our hair down a little, we have the Unhappy Happy Hour at 5 p.m. Central Time. It's called the Unhappy Hour for obvious reasons. We do not have a Democratic president in office. Maybe in 2028, after a Democrat wins the White House, we can switch back to calling it the Happy Hour. In any event, you can bring a drink or not. It's the camaraderie that's important. It's a great space for both casual talk and meaningful discussion about the week's events and plans you or your local Indivisible groups are doing. Next slide. But wait, there's more. We have Zoom meetings much like this that follow up or expand on what we're thinking about and may want to turn into action, such as sorting soup as our weekly group processing space, where we sort through what's happening in the news, identify key issues, and brainstorm concrete actions our members can take to take back their communities. Vision Forward is our long-range project where we developed messaging strategies for conveying our pro-democracy vision. The project includes identifying our shared pro-democracy values, imagining the America we want to build, rooted in freedom, fairness, opportunity, and sustainability. Our shared values are then translated into clear policy priorities and messaging. Sharing Our Stories is a group whose mission is to amplify the stories of those impacted by the harmful policies of the 47th regime. Using a storytelling framework to humanize complex issues that resonate on an emotional level, because real stories from real people are what move hearts and minds. This group is looking for volunteers to collect stories, create video or written content, amplify those stories, and members who may have their own personal stories to share. And lastly, hands-on how-to sessions are our practical technology workshops. We cover things like using Zoom, AI, joining Discord, Linktree, and using Substack. These sessions are relaxed and supportive, no tech backgrounds needed. In fact, their purpose is to help with tech issues. If you haven't heard of some technology tools and programs, join us to learn more. The workshops are designed to help save you time and energy in your activism role. Next slide.
Okay. So then I guess I pick it up from here. We want to point your attention to the NWSOFA Linktree landing page, which was posted in the chat. You'll also find a number of resources that you can access at your own leisure. The first link takes you to the orientation slides. The second link is important and is what you will fill out to sign up with NWSOFA. NWSOFA Substack site with upcoming activities, messages from Bill Davis, our chapter leader, and links for more information. You can find similar opportunities for NWSOFA's other social media platforms, Blue Sky, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. The quickest way to access everything is through the QR code on our link tree, which you can also find in the chat. Next slide. In addition to Zoom, we also have a Discord server, which is like a message board, that allows us to keep in touch and share information in between Zoom calls. It's invite only, so if you'd like to join our Discord group, please sign up for NWSOFA using the Google form and make sure you put Discord sign up in the comments field. Next slide. Okay. So there are a few tools for activists as well. There's mobilize.us, which is a nationwide organizing hub where volunteers can easily find, register for, and join events hosted by grassroots groups, campaigns, and community organizations. It centralizes opportunities for action so people can plug in quickly from anywhere. 5calls.org or 5calls app, a simple research-backed calling tool that provides scripts and phone numbers so you can make 5 impactful calls to your elected officials on urgent issues in just minutes. It lowers the barrier to civil engagement by telling you exactly who to call and what to say. Goods Unite Us, a non-partisan database and app that lets you look up companies' political donations so you can make spending choices aligned with your values. It helps consumers understand how their dollars may influence politics. Individual action items page, Ezra and Leah weekly call, action items page on indivisible.org. Ezra and Leah each Thursday have a weekly call at 2 p.m. Central Time. Indivisible's regularly updated Action Hub outlines the most urgent nationwide calls to action, along with guidance for local groups. The weekly call with Ezra and Leah breaks down the political landscape and gives organizers timely, strategic steps to take. They just had one today, and they are calls not to be missed because they really give you inside information of what Indivisible is doing and will do in the weeks and months ahead. Fight disinformation with a true sandwich model from Indivisible's Truth Brigade group. Sorry about that. It's a messaging model that corrects misinformation by first stating a clear truth, briefly identifying the false claim, and then restating the truth even more clearly. This method stops amplification of falsehoods and reinforces accurate information that motivates constructive action. Next slide. This slide shows actions to take for activists who are more experienced. We won't discuss them here, but are listing them for your reference. Next slide. Okay. If you want to sign up for a helper to guide your way through the early days of belonging to NWSOFA, you can sign up for Coffee Mates. You put Coffee Mates in the comments sign-up form linked here. And that gives you a sort of a guide or a mentor to help answer questions you might have, help introduce you to people, maybe, meet if you want to do that personally and get to know that person and so on. I have a Coffee Mate person, and she's very much getting involved in the group very quickly. It's nice to see. Now we know that joining a new group can be overwhelming. There's a lot going on and lots of new faces. That's why we started this Coffee Mates feature. And as I said, it's a buddy system that pairs a newcomer with an established member who can help you find your footing, answer questions, and introduce you to the programs or issue teams that best fit your interests. If you'd like to participate in Coffee Mates, just fill out the sign up form, which is the second link on the link tree that says new here, sign up, and write Coffee Mates in the comments field. We'll match you with someone friendly who can help you get oriented and make the most of being part of NWSOFA. Bottom line, we're here to help, and we're glad you're here. Before we move on, we'd like you to meet the man who is most responsible for NWSOFA. Now one of the most vibrant and successful chapters in Indivisible, and his name is Bill Davis. Bill, would you like to walk people through the best ways for people to support NWSOFA?
Yeah, I certainly would. First of all, thank you for everybody who was here. We constantly talk about this community that we have created by luck, purely by luck. NWSOFA started back when a group of about 17 of us were getting together at a local Democratic headquarters to make phone calls for Barack Obama for his second re-election campaign. And over 6 months, we met twice a week, and we only knew everybody's first name. So just by luck, the day that Obama was elected for that second term, one of the members said, why don't we just get together at a local Panera Bread and learn each other's other name and see what we can do otherwise? And so we did that. And 17 of us started this group that we called Northwest Verbs Progressives. I think that was the name. And then just by luck, a couple of weeks later, we heard that Michelle Obama and Barack were going to turn their OFA, Obama for America, to Organizing for Action, a progressive group. So we were one of the first chapters to join that. That was 13 years ago. Uh, and now, not by luck, Sandy Hook happened, and 23 children and teachers were killed. And we started our very first issue group called Gun Violence Prevention. And that group still meets every week or every month on Zoom now. And people come from all across the country to talk about what they're doing locally. We're talking about what we do legislatively. It's a great group. It is one of 19 groups that have formed just by luck. So our group grew successfully to 600 members, and then a couple of years later, we were talking about we're just about at the 1,000-member level, and then just by luck, a guy by the name of Donald Trump got elected, and we had a huge explosion. I think we added almost 3,000 new members in a matter of a month, mainly women. Women's March came out at about the same time. And we were NWSOFA, Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action. And then we noticed a new group forming called Indivisible. And we weren't sure what this Indivisible group was, but we were kind of keeping an eyeball on them because they seemed to be very active. They were doing town halls. And when legislators didn't show up, they were having chickens on chairs as being the legislator. They were doing some great things. And a year or two later, when Barack Obama said, well, we're going to fold OFA now more into gerrymandering in certain states, not including Illinois, we looked for who we could join. And just by luck, we got a call from a person, Lenny, from an Indivisible Chicago chapter that said, we've heard a lot about your group. We'd like to talk to you guys about joining Indivisible. We were having a birthday or a Christmas party, a holiday party. The next day we said, can you make it up here? And she said, yes, she did. And we told her that it was going to take us a couple of months to make our decision. And she was fine with that. But at that meeting, she was so dynamic. We were so impressed by what Indivisible was just starting to do. We had the entire board at that holiday party, and we voted yes, we were going to join, just by luck. And then, oh my goodness, talk about luck. Anybody remember the pandemic? Yeah, the pandemic hit 5 years and 6 months ago. And we didn't know what we were going to do. We couldn't have our meetings at libraries. We couldn't have our get-togethers anyplace. People were dying. COVID was a real thing. And just by luck, somebody said, I've heard about this new thing called Zoom. Zoom. Interesting. So it took us about 6 months to figure out how to join Zoom and actually have meetings on Zoom. But we started having daily meetings. We called them our coffee hour. That is the start of our coffee and conversation, just by luck. And we have continued that throughout the whole thing. Because what happened when we joined Zoom, we originally had 4 or 5 people for almost a year would join on and off. But we started to notice that more and more people from across the country would just drop in. As people were finding out about Zoom, as people were searching for an outlet somewhere to talk to people, we became a little bit of a magnet for that. And it was wonderful for us. Shortly thereafter, we added the happy hour because, Joe Biden had gotten elected. My God, we were going to have a special time, 5 o'clock Central Time every Friday to have a happy hour. And it was a happy hour until just by luck, it became a unhappy hour. And that was when Donald Trump got elected the second time. And we knew we were in trouble. But just by luck, our membership had grown as of January 1st of this year. It had grown to 5,000 members. Remember, I said 17 started. We're now at 5,000. In the last 6 months, we have grown to 9,700 members locally. And so we have like 6 townships in the land beyond O'Hare, the northwest suburbs, and we have grown from 17 members to 9,700. And on Zoom, you heard somebody say it earlier, on Zoom, we have grown to over 23,000 members that join us. Now, not everybody joins us at one time, but every morning we see people triple in, people we haven't seen for a while. It's not just in the US, it's in Canada, Mexico. We have some people that join us from Paraguay, Uruguay, down South America, and Ecuador, and just people from England and Germany, and we've had some people join us from Vietnam. They don't do it on a regular basis, but they drop in just to see what we're doing. So we grabbed this amazing community of people, and we've learned who they are and what they do. Many of them started 50-51 rally groups. Many of them started Indivisible groups locally. Many of them are democratic organizations, have all come together, and we share information. Just by luck, we learned to share. That is the amazing thing. Besides me getting on every morning to open up the Zoom and say hi to everybody and try to remember what day of the week it is, the rest of that call is people sharing what is going on in their lives, what they have seen, what their groups are doing, how they are approaching things. From very interesting things about how they're running their rallies to the simplest of things of how they leave messages on posted sticky notes on the back of bathroom doors in restaurants to make people aware of issues. We have learned all of this stuff, and we try to keep that information flowing with all of these different groups. So you've heard me say just by luck. A long time ago, somebody told me, they said, luck is defined as what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So we were an OFA chapter, we became an Indivisible chapter. We found this opportunity of Zoom. We embraced it early, and we've expanded and grown. I can't tell you how many groups have told me, we do our own coffee hour now. We do this now. We have a gun violence group. We have an economic group. We have a Stand With Women group. We have a Restore Our Democracy group. And our speakers, who are many of our leads locally, are available to go out and present to your groups. Or we offer some of our programs that we're doing for people to be co-hosts with those. Matter of fact, this next week we have a Senate candidate format, and I think we now have 30 different co-hosts from all across Illinois that are going to be supporting that program. Amazing. So all this stuff has just happened by luck, and we've grown. Today, we have 19 issue teams, and we have we call it our secret sauce. We have 30 all volunteer leads that help run our issue teams, those 19 different issue teams, and our communications teams that provide programs like this, that keep our Facebook and our website going, and do our YouTubes, etc. So we have been very lucky, and I invite all of you who are on this call today to join in our luck and join us for a moment. Stop into a coffee and conversation, say hi, introduce yourself. Stop into one of our regular meetings. We have about 3 meetings a day, except for weekends. We only have a couple during the weekend. But we have them on all different types of things and issues that are current And we not only bring up the issue, we try to bring up the action plans that people should work on. And if you haven't heard, we have quite a few members over in Indiana. They've been keeping me updated today. Indiana decided not to gerrymander Indiana. Wow, cool beans, right? And then one of our members, who happens to be very close and works in Washington quite a bit, sent me a note just a little while ago that the House voted with a combination of Democrats and Republicans to rebuke and to create a law to reverse one of Donald Trump's early programs, not allowing unionization of certain groups of federal workforce. That is amazing. You add to that, to this last Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday's, the mayor of Miami for the first time in 40 years becoming a Democrat. The recent wins in the Virginias in New Jersey, the mayor of New York City, the recent wins in this week in Atlanta. Things are very positive for us. And that's, by that definition of luck. Well, that's what happens when preparation meets opportunity. We're prepared, we're making calls, we're keeping things going. Our goal is to help anybody out there, any organization. We want to grow our organization. We want to help you grow your organizations so that we are ready for the 2026 elections. I firmly now, based on what I've been seeing happen, I firmly believe we can take back both the House and the Senate. I didn't believe that a month ago, but I do now. So I have really chewed up my 3 minutes, right? So
No, thank you so much, Bill. That's so wonderful. And thank you, Constance, and everybody. And
yeah.
are you done, or you want to say something else, Bill?
Yeah, I'm just so proud and so pleased to, at 80 years old, be able to count all of you as friends and part of our team that are going to make this happen this next year. Now I'm done.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And so that brings us to the end of the formal orientation materials. And now we'll answer some of the questions that you posted in the chat. And if you have other questions or you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand using the React button, which is the little heart-shaped thing at the bottom of your Zoom menu. As a note, I want to point out that at the end of the slides we've provided in the chat, there's a few slides that are the frequently asked questions section that might be helpful to answer some questions. We also want to give you an overview of the Linktree link in the chat and point out how you can sign up with NWSOFA to officially join the group and request access to some of the sites like Discord, or to request a coffee mate, like Constance was saying earlier in the comments.
Hey, Merle, so we've been monitoring the chat
Great.
For questions, and the one question we had was from Ed Spire, and he asked about the history of the group, and I think we all heard Bill give the amazing history of how this group started, and it definitely wasn't by luck. I have to say that you're looking at one of the most amazing leaders in probably any Indivisible that exists. So Bill, I mean, it's this guy. I mean, I cannot say enough good about him. I don't even think he sleeps. You know, he literally is, and he's a how do we make it happen person. And that is amazing when you are working with activists that have all sorts of diverse ideas and, you know, hey, can we try this? and he is behind everybody 100% to make that happen. And I know that there are people on this call today that have some talents that are undiscovered, and we hope that and Bill's going to support you, and we are going to support you in kind of making sure we bring all that to the group. So, but now what we're gonna do is go with the who's raised their hands, because we got all the questions in the chat, and I see that Linda has her hand up first, and then we'll walk you through the link tree because that's important. And I think Laura just posted that in the chat again, so you can easily reach it. So Linda, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Linda from Indiana. And yes, thanks for mentioning us, Bill. We are thrilled. Yes, we did it. We called, we emailed, we texted. We did not let up. None of us let up. We kept at it and at it and at it. And I think we finally reached, it was at least 21 senators, Republican senators, that voted along with the Democrats today. I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. It was fabulous. It saved our state. It saved our state. We
Very
would have been
good.
the worst gerrymandered state in the entire union had it gone through. And in other words, Democrats would have been disenfranchised completely, no voice. So we are thrilled.
Good work.
Good work and congratulations for Indiana.
Thank you.
Go Hoosiers.
Yep.
Go Irish.
I'm not quite sure who's next, but I'm going to call on Lindsay.
Yeah, and then after him, after Lindsay, it's Felix.
Okay, I was so happy to vote for Kamala, but then she lost and I was really upset and crying and I was like, what the hell? And then there was a No Kings protest, which we were like, there's no kings in America. And then every time I think about Dozy Don, I get nauseous and anxiety. But I was happy that Miami elected a Democrat woman in Miami, Florida. So I was like, yay! And Abigail Spanberger and Mickey Sherrill. I was so happy for them. But I just want to get back to our democracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. You are in the right place. Where are you
Thank you,
from?
Lindsay.
I'm from Greenville, Wisconsin.
Awesome. There's a ton of Wisconsinites around, so you'll fit right in.
Yeah, hopefully we can bring our democracy back.
And Wisconsin, remember, chose Judge Crawford over Elon
Oh
Musk.
yeah, we did. We voted for Judge Crawford and we were like,
And not
yay.
Elon Musk. So good
Oh
on
God,
you.
yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, he paid the voters to vote for the other guy.
Yeah, it didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't work. And I was hoping Kamala would be the president, but no. And every time I go on threads, they're like, well, Trump's your president. I'm like, no, he's not. And
Well,
especially
thank
when he
you.
called, yeah, and especially when he called Tim Walz the R word. And I have a learning disability, and that kind of hurt my feelings. And he
Yeah,
thinks
he's
we're
not a very
subhuman.
nice man.
No.
Well, thank you so much for speaking out. And
Thank you for having me.
sure.
So Felix is next, Merle.
Yeah, Felix, what's up?
Well, I was trying to figure out who has the control of the unmute. I always think it's Miss English. I just quickly want to kind of go back to the story of how some of the members came to you. I live in Chicago, and I am running for the 7th District of Illinois. And I joined they'll remain nameless, one of the indivisible groups in the Chicago area. There's three of them. I actually joined two of them. And I simply came across you guys I decided to run September 5th. I came across you guys somewhere in the November timeframe, and I felt that your vision and your approach to things going on, it's no wonder why you guys are at 9,700 members. And Bill, I appreciate that. So I hope to meet you soon, and I'm very thankful for that. And to comment about Indiana, I have a daughter. She's a Hoosier. She was born in Munster, Indiana, but she now lives in California. And I also have a Green Bay, Wisconsin cheesehead, and he lives in Wisconsin, obviously. But back to the Hoosiers that did an excellent job of not gerrymandering any further their districts. Illinois also decided to cease and desist their efforts to counter that effort. So that's really good news for the country, I think. That's it. So thank you for welcoming me. I appreciate it, and I look forward to engaging with you much more.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Felix. And Bill, you have your hand up, or you?
I do. I do. You know, we were talking about luck, right? So I don't know how many of you watch Rachel Maddow, but have you ever seen Rachel Maddow show a picture of a huge chicken as big as a house? That is our chicken. It lives in my basement. We feed it disinformation all day long. So just by luck, 5 years ago, an Indivisible chapter out of, I think, somewhere around St. Louis called me and said, would you like a big chicken? You guys are more active and bigger than we are. And I said something like, no, I don't want no chicken. I'm not sure if I said it quite in those words. And they said, no, it's really a big chicken. I said, I don't care how big it is. They said, well, they said, we tried to put it up, we can't put it up. I said, well, I'm a farm boy. I don't want chickens. We'll send you a picture. So they sent me a picture. The next day I opened up the email. I immediately called them and said, I'll take your chicken. And they said, well, we've talked to a couple other groups. They may be interested. First come, first serve. I said, well, I'll start driving right now, but it's going to take me 4.5, 5 hours just to get down there. And I had become friends with that person I was talking to. And she said, well, if we can get it in our car, we'll meet you halfway. And they did. So I brought it up, we put it in my basement, and it stayed there. We didn't have any reason to use it because we had Biden. And then we were going to do a protest at a Lexus dealership right on the Edens Expressway, one of the big expressways in Chicago. And we're organizing this. And somebody said, is there anything else we can do? And we got signs, we got posters. And I'm thinking, I go, well, I got this chicken. And they said, we don't need no chicken. I said, no, it's a really big chicken. I mean, it's in a huge box. And they said, well, if you think it's a good idea. I said, well, I don't know. We've never inflated it. We don't know. So Ed Spire, who was on here, was and he's one of our main chicken setup crews. Now we have a crew of about 15 people that sets these up. And there it is. It just popped up. So we blew it up and we patched some holes and we got some strings on it, etc. And we put it up there. And we decided not to have it face the Lexus dealership, but to face Edens Expressway. Little did we know that it would bring Edens Expressway 8 lanes, 4 both ways, to an absolute crawl. And that night, it was on Rachel Maddow. She was going through the number of people that had protested things, and she said, oh, and there's a protest. Oh, look at that chicken. And then she stopped, and she said, look at that chicken. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and whoever popped up pictures, thank you for doing that. So we are very lucky because things just happen to us, and we have resources, and we have amazing people. And we invite you all to be part of this amazing group and share whatever you can pick up from us to your local groups, whatever they are. And if your local group is doing something great and you haven't heard us talk about it, share it with us. because that's how we become stronger. That's how we become an absolutely unstoppable force. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Bill.
Bill.
No.
Before we wrap up, I do want to just do a quick little demo of the link tree. So you guys should have the link in the chat, but if not, I will drop it in right now. And you can think of our link tree as sort of a one-stop shop for all things NWSOFA. So you have the welcome kit for newcomers, and that is the slides that we just walked through. So you're all good, but if you want to revisit them again, you got it. The next thing on here is the sign up form. So if you want to join our Signal chat, or if you want to get invited to our Discord server, or you just want to get on Bill's distribution list and start getting invited to all of these things, this is a good place to do it. You can also see what's coming up this week, what's on the docket, like the unhappy happy hour that Bill mentioned tomorrow, or the Sunday seconds. So all that stuff is on the calendar. If you feel so moved, you could donate to support, because we are all volunteers here, and all of this stuff happens for free. So, but if you feel like donating, this is your link. There's a bunch of social media presence for NWSOFA, as well as a list of all of the Zoom meeting offerings. And then just to cap things off, we did kind of touch on these activist resources. 5 Calls, Good Unites Us, the weekly What's the Plan with Ezra and Leah, etc. So as I mentioned, one-stop shop, lots of good resources to dig around in. And I think that's it for me.
Okay, and so thank you, everybody. And I'm the last person that is concluding the orientation. We want to end by saying that we're so very excited to have you join our group and groups, and we look forward to getting to know each of you better in the months ahead. And we continue our work as activists in our fight for democracy. Good job, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
You're
Have a great
welcome.
rest of your evening. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.